Witchlings, welcome back to my channel. I am your local chaotic witch aunt, and today we are talking about how to refresh an altar space. This is going to be broken down into kind of a few segments. Before I refresh my altar space, I'm going to talk about what it means to refresh a space or refresh an altar. I'm going to talk about what an altar is and what I consider my altar to be. And then as we kind of dive into me actually refreshing the altar space, I will talk a little bit and put some text on the video about what I'm using, why I'm using it, and I'll briefly kind of chat about that before I get into the video. Firstly, what does it mean to refresh an altar space? For me, a refreshing of the altar space can happen seasonally at major holiday events, especially with my ancestor altar for Giorno di Morti or on saint feast days. It can have to do with doing a more kind of baneful working on my altar and needing to cleanse that energy out. Refreshing an altar space can be around cleansing or cleaning up the altar space if it's very cluttered or there's a lot of dirt or spell remains on it. For me, I like to use dried spaghetti instead of matchsticks, so there's a lot of little burnt spaghetti pieces all over the altar. As well as this could be that, for me, I pull a lot of ingredients and a lot of oils out when I'm doing this working, and then maybe they don't make it back to where they belong. For me, refreshing is actually cleansing the altar space. It's also physically cleaning, but mostly I'm cleansing the space. I am also feeding the spirit of the altar and the table. For me, everything has a spirit, including the altar that I hold and do all my workings on. This is a spirit that is very dear to me. It's one that I work with all the time because I'm always working at my altar. So as I'm cleansing this space and taking care of this space, I'm also taking care of this altar. We want this spirit to be nice and clean and not dirty, and we want to make sure that it gets fed with the things that it finds appropriate, whether that's smoke or a little bit of a water or some oils placed on the table, any of those work. As well as that, I have a lot of active workings that I keep on my altar space. I have money bowls, I have charm bags, I have a protection working, I have wards, I have all of these things all over my altar that may get a little dusty. And we don't want them to be dusty. We want them to be living and breathing and fed. So as I'm pulling everything off, I am also checking in to see, do any of these workings need to be fed? Do they need to be revitalized? Do they need a candle? Do they need some oils? What are they asking for from me? Refreshing an altar space can be, like I said, something that happens during a big holiday. For my ancestral altar, I very often do Giorno di Morti. For my saint shrines and saint altars, I will very often do it on their feast days and just kind of tend to that space. These are homes for these spirits within our home. That's what an altar is to me. It's a living spirit, a living space where we place workings, where we place spirits, where we're either honoring those spirits or calling those spirits into workings with us, even if it's just a plant or a bone or an animal or anything like that. Those spirits deserve a clean space to rest. And thinking of it this way has definitely changed how I take care of my altar spaces. Some of my most valuable allies are in this space, and I want to ensure that the space that they are residing in, the space within my home, the honor that I give them when venerating and working with them is one that feels good, not just to me, but to them. Refreshing an altar space may be different depending on your tradition or what feels good in your body, who you're working with. If you're working with a deity or a spirit that tends to be a little bit more chaotic, they may be okay with clutter or a lot of things on their altar space. If you're working with a deity or a spirit that tends to be like a little bit more precise, we may want to keep it cleaner and less cluttered. For me, keeping my altar space a little less cluttered is something that I really enjoy as a person, but it's also something that I think that a lot of my spirits appreciate as well. As we kind of dive into actually cleansing the altar space, the first thing that we want to ensure that we're doing is removing any old workings that are done or finished. We want to cleanse that working and dispose of it properly. We want to ensure that we are putting it or getting rid of it in a way that is respectful, that makes sense for the kind of working that it is. After I remove everything off the altar, I like to start with a cleanse that incorporates water. If you use Florida water in your tradition, you can do Florida water as well. It can be a spray. It can just be water by itself. I like to incorporate a little bit of fire. I'll burn some incense, some plants. For me, I have juniper, rue, rosemary, and incense gifted to me that I've been using a lot frequently. So I'll choose one of those and kind of smoke cleanse the table or anything on it that I think needs a little bit of an energetic reset. For an altar reset, there's really many ways to do it. You could do it just with water, just with smoke, a little bit of fire. You could do a cleansing candle on top of it. I like to try and incorporate all 4 elements: fire, air, earth, water. Earth is the plants I'm burning, air is the incense, fire is also included in that burning of the plant or the incense, and water is what starts me off. You don't have to include all 4 elements, but I really like doing it. The elements are also our ancestors, and it kind of brings them into the altar space as well. Whether or not you cleanse or refresh your altar in a very particular way, or you are taking inspiration from this video, I hope that watching me reset my altar gives you some ideas for how to reset yours, or it just kind of brings you some comfort if you already have a set method of refreshing your altar space. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this video, and thank you so much for watching. I have this candle which needs to be removed, and here you can see I've drawn on my altar to kind of protect this. I have some dried spaghetti pieces. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to remove this candle and cleanse this working, and then I'm going to slowly start taking everything off the altar and kind of going through and cleansing it. Like I said, there's a lot of weird things here. I got a gift for my friend that hasn't been given to them yet. I got some deer knuckles. So I just have to go through and make sure we are getting everything off, cleansing it, but we're going to start with this candle spell. Because the sun is actively setting, so we are running against Helios right now. We are running against time. I want to share a working that I really enjoy to help you kind of stay in tune with your altar spaces and what they need. And also, it's kind of like a great way to spice up your altar space. So it is one that I saw from Queer Catholic Mystic. You take this used glass encased candle and you clean all the candle remains out of it. I like to use spells that I've already finished. This one is a luck working. that I did. And then, as you can see, I filled it with plants that I'm propagating. I think this is just the cutest, coolest working that I've ever seen. And thank you to Queer Catholic Mystic for sharing it. I like to choose plants that make sense for what kind of candle it is, like uncrossing or luck or opening the way. These, I got some pothos, some philodendron in here, and I am going to be putting this over here in my luck altar area that already has some plants set up in it, but could do with a little bit more. The reason that I really like this particular working to check in with everything is because I get to kind of look and see how the plants are doing, and that tells me if the altar needs a refresh. It tells me how the working is doing. So yeah, that is my little tip, because it kind of tunes us in to the having a living spirit. All of our spirits are there, but having a living spirit on our altar space, what that living spirit needs and what it kind of is looking like, is it healthy? Is it not healthy? Does it need something? All of those things we can look at and consider. Here's another one that I did that's been going for quite a while that I just moved to my altar. And this is a open roads. As you can see, it's got a lot of roots in it. I did have to trim this guy down a little bit because it was in a rough shape, but it's got a lot of roots in it. So now these plants are actually in a glass encased candle, an Abre Camino like thing, and contributing, in my opinion, to the energy of this open roads candle, which I'm obsessed with. I love it. So for me, it's just a really cute way to bring some plant magic into my altar space, stay in touch with and in tune with my altar space, and to give a little bit of green spice. But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I know it was a bit of a shorter one, but if you want to tell me what kind of video you want to see or what you want me to revisit down below, it'll help me make the next one longer or better or whatever you're kind of feeling. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, turn the bell on. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Frankie, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Siate benedetti.